Here we are.
Wow, it's very cozy.
This is your kitchen, coffee pot.
Tom Doherty is the third generation to run his family's houseboat business on Rainy Lake. They're at the gateway of Voyageurs National Park. On the boat, there's no internet or cell phone service. The last place to log on is on shore. But even that can be a problem. Doherty's business relies on a DSL connection, or digital subscriber line. The signal runs through a nearly century-old copper telephone line. For a business that depends on the internet for things like reservations, credit card transactions, and selling fishing licenses, it can be a real headache.
We have nothing today. Our internet's down. It's been down since this morning. We're not even sure when it's going to come back up. That happens on a regular basis.
It'll just intermittently go out.
Intermittently go out.
Not to mention a required customs border check-in. It's not working either. Doherty says reliable, high-speed broadband should be the norm.
I definitely think it should be accessible to everybody.
About 650 residents on Rainy Lake currently don't have high-speed broadband. The main problem? Cost.
We're kind of that last mile, if you will. Once we get out towards the lake here, the other difficulty is our geography. We are on very heavy bedrock, mostly granite, so it's very difficult to actually physically get those fiber optic lines out to us. It's very expensive.
Frontier Communications was able to lay fiber optic cable in the area with the help of a federal grant, but not fiber to the home. That's an added estimated cost of $6,500 per home. In a phone interview, Frontier said decisions are made based on the return.
The speed of the service is dependent on, in part, how far you are from a company infrastructure. So we have central offices that house the network equipment throughout the network. The closer a customer is to one of those, the higher the speed that can be achieved. It's just physical science.
Brent Christianson is the voice for 45 independent rural providers and does not represent Frontier.
There's always more work to do. We're chipping away at those last customers that don't have it. I would say, given the resources that we've got and the terms and conditions and the regulations that we have to deal with, we're doing our best.
He says telecom providers are also competing with wireless and satellite services and each other.
Crews are working all over north-central Minnesota to install fiber optic cable, and the demand is growing.
Paul Bunyan Communications in Bemidji has been aggressively investing in fiber optic broadband outside its service area. It now offers gigabit broadband internet to 5,500 square miles in north-central Minnesota. That's a sizable investment. But as a co-op, its primary goal is providing service, not profit. Its members are willing to wait for returns 10 or even 15 years out.
If you're willing to look long-term, fiber is a perfect investment. If you want short-term bang for the buck, that's where we get into this debate about, well, what's fast enough, what's good enough, can we use some other technology?
The state has set a goal of 25 megabits download speed and 3 megabits upload in just 2 years. That's the speed Netflix recommends for streaming in HD. To date, 93% of households have access to this speed. The state says the goals are aspirational.
We are on a path to get there. Certainly there is a funding gap, but we are making progress, and thanks to our state investment and local and private investment, I'm hopeful that we'll get there.
Her office has received 80 applications for the Border to Border grant program this year. Earlier, lawmakers once again funded it at $20 million a year for 2 years. But the need totals nearly 4 times that.
So the state has set more aggressive goals than the federal government, and I admire that. The trick is, are they funding it in a way that we can do it? And at $20 million a year, no, we won't get there by those deadlines, I don't believe, to everyone.
The state has set a 2026 goal of 100 megabits per second download and 20 upload. But a study by the Blandin Foundation, a funder for Almanac, says most of the state is not on track. Some got tired of waiting. 14 years ago, the Upper Sioux community couldn't get any internet service on its reservation. So it decided to install its own broadband fiber with help from federal and tribal grants.
This is our IT director here at the tribe, Angela Ochoa. She's responsible for all of this.
When I get a pair of moccasins done, I post it so that the owner knows what they're buying.
That's allowed artist Super Labatt to sell his beadworks anywhere in the world. He says broadband has been vital.
If I am kind of feeling down or something, art always, it makes me feel good. And if I'm selling something, it makes the person feel good too.
The debate will continue around the state about what speeds are truly needed. But as technology rapidly changes, so will the need